Hey, what's going on, folks? My name's Gray, this is Consoletronix, where today I'm going to be doing something I've meant to do for quite a while, and that's show off to you my collection of 8-bit Sega Master System games. Sadly though, it's a case of the best of what's left, as I sold a sizable chunk of it some years back. But if you've been watching any of my pickup videos of late, you'll know that I'm back to bad habits, as I've been getting back into collecting for the system. And speaking of system, here she is, the Sega Master System Model 1. Not the original console I first got as a kid, which I do still have somewhere, covered in Transformers stickers. This has been the console I game on primarily because of this. A 50-60Hz switch, which allows you to play PAL games full screen and full speed. And if you ask me, I think the old girl is actually looking pretty good for her age. I know a lot of people don't like this sort of rectangular, angular look. Mostly Americans who grew up with a much more compact NES console. But us in Europe, we like a bit of meat on the bones of our gaming platforms. We like something we can grab hold of. And speaking of that, that's exactly what we're going to do, as we're going to get the ball rolling with a bunch of loose carts that I have. We have Teddy Boy, based on an old Sega arcade machine that has something to do with a popular 80s J-pop idol. I don't know if she's the star of the game in the original Japanese, but they certainly do use one of her songs. We have, boom, how many of you knew this was on the system? Mortal Kombat 2. Yeah, the 8-bits, particularly the Master System, weren't exactly renowned for their fighting game library, but Mortal Kombat 2 is fairly decent. We have Penguin Land. Now, this is a absolutely brilliant game, a platform puzzler. You play a penguin, you have to get an egg from one end of the level to the next, avoiding the traps, avoiding the monsters. It's much better than I'm making it sound. I'm not sure if this is based on an arcade. I'm not even sure if this was ported to other platforms. All I know is this is a game you definitely need to check out. And last of my loose carts, we have casino games. Yes, why you go to all the trouble of getting dressed up, going out to the casino, when you can sit at home in your boxes and gamble all your money away from the comfort of your living room on your Sega Master System with casino games. Yes, excellent. And now we get to the boxed games. We have the Choplifter clone that is actually pretty decent in its own right. It is Air Rescue, a tidy little action game. Lots of people to rescue, lots of things to shoot down. Next we have, shoot 'em up, Scramble Spirits. Yeah, not exactly one of the best games in its respective genre, but a decent one nonetheless. Again, I'm not sure if this is based on an arcade or whether it is actually a original release. We have Super Tennis, or do we? Oh, we do. Yeah, there's another Super Tennis in here somewhere which contains another loose cart. But yeah, this is Super Tennis. One of the very first games I actually bought for my Sega Master System. Oh god, when did I get it? Way back in like 1991. Fantastic little game, especially in 2 players. And here is a platform puzzler that should need no introduction. It is Lemmings. The Master System version, the first version of this I ever played was on the Sega Mega Drive, and it took me a couple of goes before the sort of penny finally dropped, and then when it did, I was well and truly hooked. But yeah, the Master System version is actually pretty decent. Ported to literally every console known to man. I think they're still knocking out Lemmings games of some description. I know there was one on the PS2. We have, boom, a racing game. Yeah, I'm not big on driving games, but World Grand Prix. This is something of a theme you're going to see as we go through a lot of these videos. A lot of the older Sega Master System games tend to have pretty Spartan covers. But yeah, the game itself is actually fairly decent. It was one of a range of titles that started with the word world. So you had World Soccer, you had World, I think it was World Ice Hockey. Oh, there was loads of them. Another racing game, Super Monaco Grand Prix. This was one in one of my recent pickups videos where I was telling you guys that I didn't like driving games. I'm not quite sure. I know the Monaco GP series has long been a Sega franchise, going as far back as one of their very earliest systems, like the what was it, the SG 3000 or something like that. But yeah, this is Super Monaco Grand Prix. I think this is before they licensed Ayrton Senna, or maybe it's after actually, because he died in '94. We have an excellent, I was going to say strategy. It's an adventure game, Spellcaster, the sequel of which is just out of my reach, but I can see it there in the corner, is Mystic Defender on the Mega Drive. I'm trying to think now what this game was actually called, because I think Spellcaster is the Western title for it. But yeah, definitely one worth tracking down. A lot of these Master System games will also have been available in the US. I don't have that many later releases that were European exclusive, but we'll see if we can dig a few out. In fact, I think I might have one right here. Here is Meep Meep, yes, Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote in Desert Speed Trap. Another one I picked up very recently. This I haven't had a chance to play yet, but this is a Master System exclusive. I don't think there was a Roadrunner game on Mega Drive. There may have been a port on the Game Gear. I'm going to have to look into that. Classic. Golden Axe. Classic of arcade, classic of the 16-bit Mega Drive, and dare I say it, the 8-bit Master System version, while definitely a cut down version of its 16-bit sibling, is without doubt one of the best 8-bit versions, because it was ported to a number of different systems, like everything from the Commodore 64 to the Amiga to the PC Engine version, which you should avoid like the plague. Another classic one here, another old Sega arcade machine, Thunderblade. This is a pretty bog standard game. It's decent. It's just not anything to get too excited about. A follow-up would follow on the Sega Mega Drive in Super Thunderblade. Another classic in a pretty tatty cover. This is Chase HQ. Again, another one that was ported to virtually every single system known to man. The Master System version is definitely one of the better ones. Excellent graphics, lots of action, lots to see and do, and we have one of my personal favourites, Shinobi. A lot of people don't rate this game, or at least don't put it on the same level as, say, the PC Engine version, but I think this is the best home release of Shinobi, and dare I say it, I think it plays better than the arcade. We have Indy, or Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Yeah, as a kid I used to love Indiana Jones. I've recently actually picked up the trilogy, not on Blu-ray, not even on DVD. I picked up the trilogy on Laserdisc because I'm weird like that. Nah, it was 99p, so I thought, why not? But yeah, the Last Crusade. I didn't really play that many Indiana Jones video games, as they were mostly available for home computers. There may have been a couple of titles on the NES. I'm not sure. If there were, they probably didn't get released in the UK, but yeah, or Indiana Jones 3 was on, I think it was on the Mega Drive as well. Excellent. And another one that comes to us from, actually I think this might, I can't remember if this is an Atari game or not. It might be. Marble Badness, guide your marble around a maze. Excellent stuff. We have, I think these are a bunch of games. Well, this one definitely is. There's another one that comes from a recent pickup video, Rampart. Again, I haven't had a chance to really check this one out. But yeah, it's a sort of simple strategy game. I think it was available on 8-bit home computers as well. It's a game I've been meaning to play for quite a long time. And here's a game which I do enjoy playing. This is the New Zealand Story. Don't remember what system this came out for first. Did it come out on home computers first? I can't remember. But yeah, this is an excellent title. Regardless of the system you play it on, you need to check this out. New Zealand Story. Oh, excellent. One I think is a Master System original. Aztec Adventure. A fairly decent game. I'm going to drop it. Not one that's all that well known, even among Master System enthusiasts, but definitely one worth checking out. Back to the shoot 'em up thrills. This is Xenon 2. I think the first one debuted on the Amiga. It's a bit slow, a bit ponderous, but yeah, it's very, very good. Don't think the first one was on the Master System. Boom! You've been waiting for this one, I'm sure. Sonic the Hedgehog. A completely different game from the Mega Drive original, new levels. So this is one of those games which you can pick up if you have the original on the Mega Drive, whether you got a PAL-based converter or get yourself a Master System. Yeah, definitely worth checking out. And of course, gonna have Sonic the Hedgehog 2. This is part 2 of the 3 games that would appear on the Master System, the third being Sonic Chaos. Yeah, Tails is in this one, I think. Da, 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 da. Normally you are supposed to save the best until last, but yeah, here we have Phantasy Star, one of the best, no, not one of the best, I would say the very best 8-bit role-playing game there has ever been. It is truly outstanding. If you've heard about this game, because I'm sure you have, but never played it, put that right. This game is stunning. And we go to to a game that is not actually that bad. I'm not huge on basketball, although I used to watch quite a bit of it back when they used to show it on British television. But yeah, Basketball Nightmare, more of an arcadey game, but one worth playing. And we go to Mickey Mouse Castle Illusion. This was a massive title when first released on the Mega Drive because of its, for the time, fantastic graphics that really showed that the Mega Drive was going to be a player in the 16-bit wars. The Master System version, I wouldn't exactly say it pushes the machines to its very limit, but the graphics are decent, some decent tunes to bop along to as you progress through the levels. And we got another classic, Double Dragon. A well-known title. Whether you owned a NES growing up or a Commodore 64, I guarantee you would have had this game, or you would have known someone who had this game. Double Dragon. Yeah, for me, I played it on the Master System. This is a timeless game. It's pretty basic now by today's standards, but still worth checking out. A game that is pretty decisive amongst Master System fans. Most will tell you it's terrible, but those of us like myself who actually played it and got good at it will tell you that it is a fantastic game. Plenty of challenge. A sort of Commando ripoff, if you remember that old Capcom arcade game, but with ninjas. And as we all know, ninjas make anything better. Here we have the first Mortal Kombat on the Master System, and it plays pretty decent. My first exposure to Mortal Kombat on the 8-bit was on the Game Boy, which I thought was a very, very decent port. Yeah, the Master System version doesn't disappoint. Speedball 2. If you owned a Commodore Amiga growing up, this game must have been part of your collection. This was a fantastic title. It's pretty bare bones, pretty basic now, especially by sort of today's standards. The Speedball franchise is still going in some form. There has been different releases throughout the years. There was a PS1 title I seem to recall. Boom, Spider-Man. Yeah, it's hard to believe now, but Spider-Man wasn't exactly the most popular of superheroes. In fact, superheroes wasn't all that popular at all here in the UK. When I was a kid, Spider-Man, didn't know anyone who actually owned this game growing up, and it didn't really get that great a magazine review scores. But I remember, oh god, what was it? Superman, that's it, yeah. Oh god, there's a terrible Superman game to go along with it. Fantasy Zone. Now I mentioned some of the older Master System games had pretty sparse covers. Well, yeah, here's Fantasy Zone. This tiny little ship here is Oppa Oppa, who debuted in a Sega produced anime called Zillion. I think I might have a copy of Zillion here. But first we're going to look at the original Wonder Boy. I always used to get confused with this, as I thought this was the Sega version of what's it called? Is it Adventure Island? I forget. But yeah, this is an excellent scrolling platformer. Oh, brilliant. Wonder Boy 3 is without doubt one of the best games I've ever played. And here we have Tasmania. Now, it may have the identical cover to the Mega Drive version, but this is a completely different game in its own right. Like Sonic the Hedgehog, if you own the Mega Drive version, you should also pick up the Master System version, as it is a completely different game. Yeah, it's excellent. Excellent. Love this game. And another game I particularly like is this one. Also on the Game Gear, I think. This is Dragon Crystal. It's kind of hard to describe this one, actually, because you run around a fantasy land lighting up a maze, and that's basically it. Combat means you have to run into enemies. Yeah, it's a weird one, but definitely worth checking out. Who remembers this one? Yeah, the original Ghostbusters. Again, ported to literally every system in existence. It's a game I enjoyed playing as a kid, and I still sometimes have a bash on from time to time. Excellent. Another game which I think first came out on the Commodore 64, Impossible Mission. I'm trying to think, what's the line from the opening? You will stay here forever or something. I don't know, it's been so long since I played this. Excellent. I believe there was a sequel, although I don't think it was available on console. Yeah, Super Tennis. Or is it? No, it's not. It's one of my very first Master System games. Now, I mentioned that Super Tennis was one of the first games I bought. Well, one of the first games I ever managed to get hold of was this, the Ninja. Back in the early 90s, paying £30 for a title was pretty much out of the question. So basically what we had to do, if we wanted games, we had to borrow them off of friends, or we had to hustle. And I managed to hustle this game. A friend of mine had a Game Gear, and that was his only gaming platform. He also had a Master System converter, but he broke the plug, his official Sega adapter for the Game Gear. So I gave him my Master System adapter, so he gave me the Ninja in return, and I used my old Commodore plug to power my Master System. Here is a boxing simulator called Heavyweight Champ. I think that might be James Buster Douglas on the cover, as there was a couple of titles that went under different names in different territories. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, Heavyweight Champ, it's not great, but it's better than George Foreman boxing on Master System. Another shoot 'em up, Galaxy Force. This is based on a very, very old Sega arcade machine that has, I think it was kind of came out at the same time as like Space Harrier and Afterburner, so it made use of that sprite scaling effects to give you that pseudo 3D look. Excellent. I think there's a Galaxy Force 3D as well, actually, that uses the 3D glasses, which I don't have. And here's Robocop vs Terminator. One of the few times the 16-bit version of this was better than the 16-bit Mega Drive version of this was a gazillion times better than the 16-bit Super Nintendo version. The 8-bit Master System version, however, that's decent. Being a big fan of both franchises as I am, of course, you know, I will pick it up regardless. And this one is Lucky Dime Caper, one of the ones I picked up recently. I wondered why I bought this with nothing, no cover, but yeah, I had words with the seller, and oh, it's a long story. And I mentioned I don't like golf games in the last video. Here's Golfomania for the Master System with battery backup, so you can save your progress. Yeah, I never quite understood as a kid why golf games were so bloody popular, as I always consider it an old man's sport, but yeah, one for your dads probably. Another arcade classic, this one I do know is an Atari game, brought to us by US Gold. Gauntlet. There would be a few sequels to this. There's a couple on the Mega Drive. I think Gauntlet 4 is on the Mega Drive. I don't think Gauntlet 2 was on the Master System. It's a maze game. Pretty old now, but yeah, decent. Another, actually, this is a sim. I don't think yeah, this is more of sort of a flight sim than an old-fashioned shoot 'em up, based on another classic Sega arcade game. And here we have yet more Sega arcade. Oh no, it wasn't a Sega game, was it? It was a Taito. This is Operation Wolf. I was always slightly disappointed that the sequel to Operation Wolf, what was it called, Operation Thunderbolt, didn't appear on the Master System, as they were making like phaser games well into the 90s. I remember games like Space Gun coming out, so I was always slightly disappointed that Operation Thunderbolt didn't appear. But yeah, Operation Wolf, classic. Did I show off the first game already? I think I did, yeah, so this must be a duplicate. In fact, is it Sonic? It is. Duplicate. And we have Chase HQ 2, Special Criminal Investigation. Not as well known as the original, but a very, very good game. Certainly one of my favourites growing up. And believe it or not, this is the last game. And I just looked at the time. This video's been going on for quite a while, so we're going to wrap things up with Rastan, another arcade classic. And a lot of people are confused or a little bit surprised, shall we say, when they find out that the Master System was hugely popular in Europe, particularly the UK, when it didn't even register when released in the States or Japan. And one of the big reasons was games like this, arcade games. Arcade games were massive here in the UK, so a system that at the time could bring decent conversions of popular arcade games was always going to do well. And Rastan, yeah, I really liked this when I was a kid. I played it again recently. It doesn't really hold up all that well, but you know what, it's decent. Hack and slash, wander 'em up. Not as gory as I remember. I seem to remember there being a lot of blood, or I might be getting it confused with the arcade version. Part 2, I think, was on the PC Engine, and I played that quite a bit. And that's it, folks. That is it. I do have a stack of Mega Drive games away to my left, just out of shot. So I might be doing a Sega Mega Drive collection video very soon. But yeah, this video has gone on for quite a while. But yeah, this has been a rummage through my Master System collection. It's not my complete collection, unfortunately. I've noticed that there's a couple of titles missing. I didn't see Action Fighter or Secret Command. So I'm hoping they're the only 2 games missing. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This has been my Master System collection video. And as always, I'll have more videos up very soon. So thank you very much for watching. My name's Gray. This has been Consoletronix. And I'm out. Laters.